Hi friends, welcome to the second video on manager development series. In the first video I just talked about the critical passages that everyone undergoes in their career and the various levels of managers that we be. We talked about that each level that you jump from a doer to a manager, manager to a manager's manager to a functional manager, then to a business manager, then to a group business manager and an enterprise manager. Each level you undergo a passage. You need to undergo change certain skills, priorities and responsibilities. So my whole point was that three things that become very important in this journey of being a manager were your ability to be proactive, have a lot of ownership and display a lot of self-discipline. In this video, I'm going to talk about the second aspect in terms of when we are becoming a manager, we need to have three things very clear. You need to understand the role understanding, what is your roles and responsibilities of a manager. That is something that is very, very essential. From an individual contributor, everyone is going to tell you what is to be done. Maybe operational inputs they'll be giving you. But once you become a manager, you need to really align with the roles and responsibilities that position, that role as a manager, you have to deliver. So a good understanding about these roles and responsibilities will help you be proactive, will help you show discipline, will help you take ownership of this role and the responsibility. So I would give a very common example while I would do these training programs. I would tell people that, if you have given a role in a movie to act, say for example, if you have to play Devdas, then if that role is being given to you, then you need to constantly look drunk like Devdas and keep saying paro paro. So what are certain things that you need to own up and you need to repeat them regularly and consistently with a lot of discipline is something that I keep saying in terms of understanding the role. So there are the three aspects that any manager needs to understand. One is understanding the role. Second thing is accepting the responsibility, as I explained in this whole episode of Paro. And the third thing is be very sure in terms of what are the competencies, what are the skill sets that you need to develop in that role. So many a times when we talk to managers in a pharma kind of a setup, I keep saying the manager's role and responsibility is threefold. One is to achieve the numbers or whatever the commercial objectives are, because every manager needs to realize that it is not just time pass that we are doing, but we are responsible for a particular pharma sales manager. If you look at it, his responsibility is about achieving his targets and numbers. I think this becomes the number one responsibility of the manager that is there. The second most important responsibility of a manager is whatever is the strategy, he is the custodian of strategy. Because there are certain systems and processes within the organization, a manager's responsibility to run those systems and processes. So it is his responsibility that we follow the strategy, follow the processes that are laid down, adhere to the systems in the organization so that measurement is possible. So that's what a manager does. Because one of the principles of management is what gets measured gets done. You need to understand this, and your ability to retain data, your ability to set standards, create benchmarks is something that is going to be very, very critical. So how are we measuring and creating data? How are we measuring our people? Can we be very objective in our ability to rate performance, rank performance, put in effort? I think those input parameters need to be controlled very well. The third role clarity that one needs to have, because any manager generally deals with people. Most of them will have a team of individual contributors. So his core role in developing his people or building his team's capabilities and competencies is something that is going to be very, very critical. So this is the understanding of the role and responsibilities of a manager. And the third aspect is skill sets that are required. So when we talk about skill sets of a manager, there's a beautiful slide that we cover that any manager at any period of time, he has to balance between three skill sets. So there is a technical capability as a skill, there is human interaction or the managing human resource as a capability, and strategic thinking as a third capability. When you become a frontline manager, when you're just entering the world of management, you need to be a technical expert. That comes in from being a great doer, and that's why you are promoted as a manager. So those technical expertise are there. But as a manager, you need to build in your ability to deal with people. So your human interaction skills, your communication skills are something that become very, very critical to be developed. And finally, there is small amount of strategic thinking which needs to come in. You need to think not only for today or at the moment, but build in some amount of long-term planning and thinking. Once you get promoted as a manager, there are three things that you need to really focus as far as skill sets are concerned. First is your technical skill sets. Technical skill sets need to enhance, need to keep moving up, because you are in direct touch with the frontline guys, and they will be looking up to you, or you'll be able to establish your managerial role or your control over them if you are an content expert. You understand those technical aspects really well. However, this is a new area that now you're dealing with people. Your ability to develop these human skills, what is your interaction skills, your communication skills, become extremely important. And the third aspect that you need to develop is some amount of long-term strategic thinking. So in this video, I've very quickly summarized that as soon as you become a manager, understand your role very clearly, understand what is it that you are expected to do in certain terms. Own up that role very strongly. Your responsibility is to look at certain end products. You are in the system, you need to generate data, you need to generate system, you need to adhere to the systems, you need to take care of them. At the same time, you develop in certain skills and competencies, which are your ability to deal with people, at the same time your ability to be a technical expert, and some amount of strategic thinking. And the overall role of responsibility, if your ability to set achieve your targets or the numbers or the commercial objective that is there, your people development objectives, and you're the custodian of the processes and systems. If you take up these three responsibilities very clearly, you will be able to do great as a manager. So keep watching this series. In the next video, I'm going to talk about definition of a manager is, and what are some of these processes and systems that really help a manager become more effective. Thank you for watching, and God bless.